are back in Legend of Heroes, Trails to Zero, Zero no Kiseki, and the like. So, at the end of the previous video, Heiyue got kind of shot up, and Yona gave us a phone call and saying, hey, we should probably go check this out. So, wow. Whoever it was did not do a very good job trashing the place. All four walls are still standing, so that's an automatic fail in my book. This is traces of the raid, isn't it? Sure looks like traces of the use of the usual heavy machine gun. Would have been better if they didn't use explosives, but... Hey, if it isn't Lloyd and friends! France, how's the situation? We heard the story earlier and we rushed over here. Even I don't know. Only then in the middle of the night, it looks like guns are fired. Right now, Mr. Dudley and the others are conducting an investigation. As expected, it looks like the 1st Division has seized the initiative. That's their usual footwork. We too would like to hear from Heiyue, but can you let us go inside? I guess it is. I was only told not to let pass common citizens. Go deceive Mr. Dudley for me. Yes, you're a big help. That was in the middle of the night doing something like firing guns this close to the park. Could you go and distract Mr. Dudley for me? I don't want to be watched anymore. It's a little bit better on the inside. They even shot up the staircase. Wow. Can't go through there. Can't quite see behind the partition, but it looks like they messed that up a little bit more. Where's a Molotov cocktail when you needed one? Mr. Cow, sorry to intrude like this today. If possible, if you could tell us additional details, we could cooperate with you as well. You have to pardon me, after all, it was so late at night. I haven't the slightest idea about who the assailants were and why they targeted this company. Even so, it seems a considerably efficient defensive battle was fought. The 1st and 2nd floors looked horrible, but this room is clean. How in the world did you deal against assailants armed with heavy machine guns? That was troublesome. However, we ran away from the assailants for the most part. We had many people sent to the hospital. Good grief, what a disaster. You have my sympathies, then. Excuse us. You guys. The special support section. Hey, Mr. Lloyd and everyone else is here too. Excuse us, Mr. Cow. I know you're busy, but can I trouble you to listen for a moment? Yes, I don't mind. Well then, Mr. Dudley, thank you for your inquiry. Excuse me. This irritates me, but I'm leaving that guy to you. I hope you can at least get some information out of him. Yes, sir. It's been a while, Mr. Lloyd and everyone. Seems you all did quite well on the last day of the anniversary festival, no? You've been informed by Yin, I suppose. We, the Special Support Section, aren't attached to the normal investigation systems. Knowing that, may we ask your true intentions? Oh? Lloyd! Reading out this man's real intentions would be a waste of time, you see. Additionally, because we have various things to ask him, I'll get straight to the point this time. Hey, aren't you frank? Mr. Lloyd, you can be bold every once in a while. As I expected from you, Mr. Lloyd, I had anticipated this. Very well, I do not like meaningless exchanges all that much, too. If it is a question within the limits I can answer, I'll tell you everything I know. Thank you. I want to ask you about the 3 following points. So, just go down the list, I guess? Regarding last night's assailants, is there no mistake it's Ravache? Is there a possibility a completely unrelated group would come to attack? First, I doubt that possibility. Lau, please answer. Yes. Though the assailants are masked and their true identity is hidden, there should be no mistake it was Ravache. They use the same weapons, and most importantly, their actions were reminiscent of Ravache. People like them aren't capable of even simple camouflage. I see. However, in that case, I don't understand something yet. I hear your Heiyue members are respectable martial artists. That man there also looks like he has considerable skills, right? Thank you for your kind words. Though on one hand, Ravache are combat pros, each of them are on about the same level as you, right? Despite that, just why did you guys fall so far behind them? Did that old killing bear man come to attack you too? No, it seems the manager of their business did not participate in the attack. It seems his right-hand men, the former Jaegers, also did not participate. It was likely only Ravash's regular combat-capable personnel. If that's the case, then why? Though the combat techniques used were ordinary, their power and speed were on a whole other level. Enemy easily brandishing heavy machine guns with one hand, they stormed the place with all their might. Thanks to that, they crushed our defenses and gained control even up to the second floor. That's serious. It wasn't just power and speed, their toughness was also impressive. Because of that, they became able to use a few dangerous techniques. Dangerous techniques? It appears that you are quite a skilled expert yourself. Compared to Master Yin, I am the same as an amateur. I'll be direct. How do you plan to deal with this incident? What am I being asked? If you just think about what kind of organization we are, you shouldn't even need to ask, right? Revenge, isn't it? Please don't say such scandalous things about us. In the end, we are a for-profit company. I'm just talking about crisis management. If there's a situation that harms our profits, we intend to clear it by the proper methods. Is there something strange about that? He sure is a smooth talker. Do you count requesting assistance from the main office among those proper methods? Reinforcements from the Heiyue main office, huh? You're certainly direct. I have my pride, you know. I have no such plans at this time. Furthermore, depending on the situation, there's the possibility that the main office will intervene against my will, but... well, I should be able to stave off direct intervention, at least for a little while. Either way, because we don't understand Ravash's current situation, we have no way to deal with them, too. Right now, we're having them investigated. By our most reliable and cooperative worker, you see. You asked Yin to. Well, he's the best for situations like this, right? And Kea. This isn't directly related to the case in question, but while I'm here, I'll ask you. Do you really not know Kea? Lloyd, that's... Kea, you say. Is that a person's name, or some kind of code? Excuse me, it appears you're serious. Roughly all I know is that's the name of the little girl you took into custody after the auction. And that our collaborator gave you a little piece of advice, too. That room inside there is the exhibit for the second half of the auction. According to information from the Heiyue, there seems to be an interesting bomb in there. I think you should confirm that for yourself. A big leather-covered trunk will be exhibited in the second half of the auction. Inside there's packed something that will be like a bomb for Ravash's position. That information reached us via a complicated route. The informant is unknown, though in the end we couldn't grasp its meaning. On the contrary, that enhanced its credibility. Just to make sure, we asked our collaborator to go check on it. Even in my wildest dream, I didn't think the true identity of that bomb would be something like that. Damn, persisting in denying all knowledge about it till the last. Assuming temporarily that the story is true, regarding the informant, do you have any idea who it might be? Now, thinking logically, it seems like something a traitor related to the Ravash side would think of. However, considering the skill they used to have the information reach us, it appears they're astute. At any rate, what we know about Miss Kea is just that. Could you please believe me? Understood. Thank you for answering honestly. Now then, are those your only questions? Yes, thank you for answering them. Do you mind if I give HQ the outline of what we discussed? Do as you like. Say, Mr. Lloyd. Yes? To be honest, the attack this time was a little beyond our expectations. Because we should have already known about their battle power, connections, and thought patterns. And with their present condition, such a bold action is unthinkable. They splendidly upset our expectations. That's why at present I'm extremely excited. Because in the latest years, it had been so long since things didn't fare as I predicted. Now finally, I can wield my ability and intelligence as much as I like. That is the kind of joy I feel right now. Hey, you are unbelievable. Although I do not intend to let the likes of the police ruin my fun, only to you guys I will give a special opportunity. Could you be able to present a settlement method before we start moving in full scale? I'll follow your actions with deep interest. Yes, it helped they told us various things, but I can't believe they hinted so bluntly at a full-blown dispute. If things continue like this, a shootout will certainly occur, and if they handle it poorly, it'll be in an urban area like this time. On top of that, there's the possibility of reinforcements from the main Heiyue branch. This is looking a lot like imminent military action. From what Kao said, I think we still have time. At any rate, Ravash's raid this time leaves too many points for doubt. Before Heiyue begins to move at full scale, we should investigate various things. Yes, I agree. So today too, we should ask around each district? No. As expected this time, we shall make a direct hit on Ravash. Are you serious? It's true that we visited there before, but there is that auction matter too. As you'd expect, isn't it too reckless? Yeah, no matter if there was a reconciliation talk, that was only about Kaya's matter. However, there's certainly something I'm worried about. Something you're worried about? It's the movements of that Garcia. I have thought we would have fought him many times, but that man is neither a fool nor is he reckless. And he gave the impression that he has good command and control of his subordinates. If I remember correctly, I learned his name originally when he was the Jaeger's commander. Normally, I couldn't think that he'd allow them to do a raid with no meaning, but I wonder whether he ordered the raid last night or if it was just his subordinates running wild. That's certainly information I'd like to know. Right. I think we should look for information in the area near Ravash & Co. Should we try going now? Can't be helped, can it? Well, if we're only checking around the general area, the danger should be slight, I think. Alrighty, let's go. Okay, we'll hit up a few people here. They happen from time to time, incidents like this. But this might be the first time something like companies in the business district has been attacked has happened. As expected, I'm shocked. As I thought, it's the worker Ravash. This is why the Mafia are scary. My goodness, what a dangerous situation. I think I should make my granddaughter go home today. I don't want her involved in anything too dangerous. Heiyue Trading Company, a company I've never heard of. Did they do something to incur their enmity? Absitomen? Sometimes I come to this park to have some fun, and yet... Damn it, what are the police doing? Damn it. It's a hole. Don't get close. It's a bullet hole, kid, get it right. So we need to go back street, I guess? Somehow I feel like the back street is scary today. When I peeked in, I was stared at by a huge number of men in black. I wonder what happened. I should probably quit barking for the day. As expected, it looks like there are more guards than usual. And what's more, they're angrier than I thought they'd be. Impatient, excited, vigilant, anxious. I'm getting a mess of those emotions. There's no mistake, they must be on alert for any retaliation from the Heiyue incident. But I give up. In that condition, checking on Garcia's actions is very... What were you saying about me? Garcia Rossi. Even though he's big, he concealed his presence. It's you guys, huh? Even though something like that happened, you dare show your faces around here? I won't give you any excuses, because our deal with you all only concerns Kea. So you understand then, if you use the deal as a shield and march in here, you're going to get beaten up. He's a dangerous old man. I understand the reason you guys are sniffing around. However, you won't get a single word from me about that matter. Get lost. Please tell us just one thing. If, hypothetically, you were to attack an armed enemy stronghold, would you attack from the front, leaving everything to brute strength? As an upstanding Jaeger, I would never adopt such a strategy. I would wait for favorable conditions, and seek maximum war gains with minimum casualties. Isn't that right, son of the war god? Don't call me by that name. But certainly, that is the style of the Jaegers. Is that so? Thank you. Thank you for answering me. What a strange kid. But anyway, don't come in here unprepared, you got that? You guys will seriously die. Somehow the situation is a little strange. They seem tense and somehow it seems their power is growing weaker. Right. But saying that would have been dangerous. I didn't sense their thirst for blood. They seemed a little tired. I got a feeling like that too. Wonder what in the world happened. It's not like him to make such a face. Do you want to know the reason? Miss Grace, you have a knack for appearing in unexpected places, don't you? That's the soul of the reporter. Well then, let's do our usual give and take, shall we? I'll be waiting at that jazz bar. What do we do? Well, if it's just listening, we'll hear her. Though it's important to be careful not to say too much. You can say that again. A raid on the office, is it? It's always so sudden. As things are, I hope it doesn't turn into a total war. Damn that old man, touching me all over. You came. I know it's sudden, but can you tell me about what you know regarding the Heiyue raid incident? You've heard many things from Mr. Cow at the office, right? It is sudden. Rather, how do you know we visited the Heiyue? Well, I heard first in the morning when I tried to request data about Mr. Cow that Dudley showed up, you see. When I was pondering what was going on, you entered in afterward. Then Dudley and the others came out scowling afterward, and you came out too with a thoughtful look. It wouldn't be strange if you hadn't heard about stuff. I see. Was it like that? Either way, I think you know that we can't easily disclose information about an investigation. But of course I know that. That's why it's give and take. Don't you want to know information about Mr. Garcia? Well, as always, you're good at making a tasty bait flicker, eh? I've also heard many details about that auction, too. It's said that Ravache made a blunder and they incurred the chairman's displeasure. Don't you want to hear stuff connected with the situation over there? No? Alright. However, everything about Mr. Cow is hinted and informal. Please understand this point. I see. It has become a situation worse than I thought, eh? It is as you say. At present, they both seem concerned about not involving the normal citizens, but even so, this incident was too abrupt. No matter if it was in the dead of night, a raid near our news agency, not to mention that the world-famous IBC is in the vicinity, weren't they too quick in making their decisions? Yes, you're right. If things didn't go well, I think that the incident could have shook even the trust about Crossbells and Monetary and Trade Center. You have a point there. This could mean that the information I got my hands on could not necessarily be a lie. The information Miss Grace has. Could you tell us? Okay, this time it's my turn, eh? You see, this is a Mafia internal affair. There are rumors saying that recently the young boss Garcia's control has not been thorough. Is that true? It's a tiny bit unbelievable. Can't think that subordinates define that monster-like old man. It's like that. It's just that maybe the downtown incident, even aiming for Maine's rights, could have not been ordered by Mr. Garcia. They say they were the results of underlings acting arbitrarily to try to get some achievement. They say that it's because they were done by youngsters and the recklessness stood out. Please wait a moment. You say that even last night's raid was an arbitrary violent act by young ones? It's true that what happened was too big, so I think no it wasn't, but considering a situation like that, can't you somehow or another get Mr. Garcia's attitude some time ago? Indeed, there were no followers there. Does it mean that although he controls Ravache inside, he's having trouble? However, what is that Mr. President doing? According to what I've heard, he seems to be desperate to correct the blunder at the auction. Naturally, he's ingratiating Chairman Hartman, who he had displeased. They say he's trying to take in new influential persons inside the state. New influential persons? What kind? To come to the point, the Republic faction. Congressman, moreover, rumors say that he met many times with the Guardian Force commander. I see. His goal is to suppress the Heiyue political influence. Taking in the Guardian Force commander, is it in order to intensify the smuggling of weapons? That's probably it. And there's the fact that the idiot of Commander is Chairman Hartman's follower. So maybe he could be trying to ingratiate the chairman indirectly by influencing him over there. I suspect that too. Well, as I thought, just by talking with you, the ideas get put in order. Yes, it was a worthy exchange of information. Frankly, it helped us too. However, sorting out information like this makes me feel like there's something a little off. Something a little off? What do you mean? About every single action, it seems there's a convincing reason, but they're all haphazard, like they aren't cooperating as an organization at all. What I felt from Ravash was, in a bad meaning, that they have a style peculiar of the metropolis, but in this case I can't almost feel that. I see. Now that you mention it, yes. A system in order to make something good out of the mirror mine called Crossbell. Considering it's the organization that established it, it maybe is haphazard. Like there's an element we don't know that put the situation out of order. Something like that. Yeah, it's purely a gut feeling though. It also looks like the fighting might of the raiders who attacked the Heiyue was unnaturally high. I think it could also be the cause of Garcia's strange attitude. As expected from Lloyd, haven't you got a sharp insight? Hey, if you get tired from the police, won't you join the Crossbell Times? And then let's shoot with me for the full surprise. I'll pass. By the way, please don't say ominous things. By the way, what's that fold surprise? If I remember correctly, it should be an international prize given to the most excellent journalist of the year. Sorry, excuse me for a moment. Lloyd Banning, Special Support Section. Sorry, it's me. It's Bixen for Mains, and they changed the name of his... they changed the spelling of his name again. The mayor? Has something happened? Is there a problem with Mr. Gantz? Well, I'm at the Crossbell Casino House now. Looks like he's odd, and so I called you. He's odd. What do you mean, odd? Gantz has been playing poker since a while with the other customers, but he's oddly violent, and the air has become alarming. I'm sorry, but could you come check the situation for me? Understood. The casino house, right? It's near. We'll be there immediately. Yes, I'm counting on you. The Maine's mayor? You were saying something about the casino? Yeah, that Mr. Gantz seems to have been involved in something violent due to matches with other customers. Did he earn himself an opponent's resentment? With that attitude being abnormally lucky, it could be the very case. We must make haste and go sort the situation. Well then, to the casino. Let's go. What is it? You see, I guess it'd be useless even if we explained to her, so let's not mind her and go. You came. Thank you. I think a fight will break out. So, we're Mr. Gantz and his opponent customer. Yes. They're having a one-on-one match in the special room in the back over there. If in a hurry, Gantz could resort to violence against his opponent. Did Gantz earn himself the resentment of his opponent? Hey, it's Lecter. Right, what about this one? Straight flush, 9-10, Jack, Queen, King of Diamonds. There won't be a better hand than this. Seriously? I had never thought that such a hand could have come out in our last big match. This is my real ability. You friggin' brought me too many tied games using petty hands, but this settles the score. Expose your hand at once. Time for you to give up. What are you saying? I didn't even utter a word that I've lost, right? Are you shitting me? The only hand left that could beat mine is a royal flush. No way you could get something like that. Too bad, you're wrong. 5 of a kind, and moreover with 5 aces? Dear me, I wouldn't have ever imagined to see it here in such a situation. What exceeds a royal flush depends on the rules, but either way, there's no doubt that at best you're straight flush. Don't fuck with me, you cheated! Owner, you're his damned accomplice, huh? Absolutely not, I swear upon the goddess. I'm Moreover, considering what I saw, there is no evidence that Mr. Lecter cheated. Zip it, how can I believe that? I've got the best luck and intuition. I shouldn't be able to lose against this damn bastard. Mr. Customer. Hey, calm down. A match is a matter of chance. It only means that your luck could only get you up to here. No way, I shouldn't lose. After using that, there's no way I'd lose at gambling. Gantz. Oh no. No way I could lose. Let go! Let me go, damn it! Please calm down. What's with his strength? Gantz, please calm down. You guys. Hi, have you been well? And he even greets us in a happy-go-lucky way. As usual, he's too suspicious. He's a funny one. Is he your acquaintance? He is, but it doesn't really mean we know him. Wait, 5 of a kind against a straight flush? Hey, what the heck kind of match was this? Well, that was dangerous. I was on the verge of losing all that I have if I lost. Yeah, I don't understand well, but it seems we were somehow able to avoid some injuries. Let me go, goddammit! I shouldn't be ever losing. Then, after riding and crying, putting forth all his strength, Minor Gantz suddenly passed out exhausted. Lloyd and the others decided to carry him to his hotel room. My goddess, how could such a thing... He was slovenly but good-natured, a man who everyone liked. Mr. Chief. At any rate, he acted quite violently for sure. I would have never thought that it would have taken Lloyd and I to arrest him. Yeah, frankly, he was amazingly strong. Hey, this is my frank impression, but... was that man taking some kind of dangerous drug or something? What? What? Seriously? Lloyd and Tio, you agree with me? Well, I don't want to say something careless, but it's possible. How ridiculous, drugs? As if! He's just a normal miner, you know? He shouldn't be able to get such a thing. However, it's passed almost half a month since he came here, right? He earned quite a fair amount of Mira, so you can't definitely state that he couldn't have taken advantage of that, right? Stop at this instant! You said you were a Crossbell Times journalist. Know that I'll formally protest if you'll write an article based on speculation. I don't plan to write any article at all. Mr. Bixson, just in case, would you mind if we checked Mr. Gantz's personal effects? Lloyd, you too? I don't intend to assert that, but there are too many coincidences. That acting violent, the fierce strength, the personality change, we can see similar points to a few cases that happened in the past. Moreover, an uncomparable increase in gambling skill too. Could be due to drugs that his perception became abnormally sharp. So he could have read his opponent's state of mind and had good intuition. Right. Probably if I were to gamble, I would be better at it than other people. Tio? Sorry, it wasn't my intention. Don't worry. Mr. Chief, I understand that you're worried about Mr. Gantz's reputation. However, in case it really is some kind of drug, if we left things as they are, there could be some danger. Well, toxic symptoms, after effects, I can think of many of those. Yes, I think that there lies the worst damages from drugs. Alright, it appears I was inconsiderate. Lloyd, please proceed. Yes. Lloyd searched carefully the breast pocket and other places, paying attention to not wake up Gantz. This is... Blue pills received. That's... my goddess. To think that there really was. It gives off a beautiful color, but what kind of drug is it? It is not definite that it's a drug and not a medicine. Perhaps it could be some chronic disease medicine. Chief, has Gantz got a chronic disease? Based on what I know, he shouldn't have. Obviously, I can't affirm it. Alright. Can we keep this pill for him the moment? Yes, please. But please, I beg you, do not spread this fact around. Yes, we will take concern about Mr. Gantz's reputation. About Mr. Gantz himself, can we leave him to you? Yes, I'll take care of him. When he wakes up, I'll try to speak with him again. Please do. Even so, a drug suspicion in Crossbell? Even rare things happen. Really? I thought that the Mafia dealt with many of those. On the contrary, illegal drugs don't appear in Crossbell very much. At any rate, differently from other crimes, it's an influential one that can be spread to the neighboring countries. They say that illegal drugs are strictly supervised by those at the 1st Crime Division due to pressure from the Empire and the Republic. And somehow even Ravache read the situation about that. I see. I was taught about that too at the police academy. However, this pill... a blue pill. It looks beautiful in appearance. How to put it? It looks very suspicious. Tio, do you have any idea? Sorry, I think it's just my imagination. However, that pill, what do you plan to do with that? Right. It'd be a bit too much of a serious matter for us only to decide. Let's temporarily go back and consult with the chief. Yes, I think that's good. We should also report about the Heiyue raid incident. In addition to a dispute between mafias, the possibility of a case involving drugs. Jeez, I got the feeling we're gonna become super busy. Well, I've been knowing you for 4 months, but what makes this here feels keenly that you've grown up a lot. Miss Grace, why do you suddenly... You won't get anything by praising us. No, I'm serious here. I've got great expectations from you. Almost like Lloyd's older brother, Guy Bannings. By the way, we talked about this before too. Miss Grace, were you acquainted with my brother? When I was a newbie reporter, I was indebted to him on many occasions. In the end, Guy's case ended up going unresolved. But still, I was really happy that a position which inherited his will was created in the police. A post which inherited Lloyd's older brother Will? What? Okay, so I think what they're trying to say here is a post which inherited Lloyd's older brother's will. Even though there's a much better way to phrase that. Whoops, telling you more than this would maybe anger your chief. I've got to cover an event, so for today I'll excuse myself now. Oh, about the drug incident. I'll deliberately will not write an article, so don't worry about it. Bye-bye. Jeez, she even dropped some tantalizing hints and then went away with it like that. In addition to a mountain of things we have to think about. True. Mr. Lloyd, are you concerned about what she said? Well... It does concern me, but whatever I may think now, I have to postpone it. The Heiyue raid, Ravache situation, the blue pill. Above reported the chief, let's try to consider what to do. Yes. Understood. Alright, let's return at once to the sports section. How do I get out of here? Hold on, is someone here? No. Oh, there's the staircase. Received a large tip from Mr. Gantz. Since I was afraid of having it in my hands, I went to the City Hall and donated it. Don't know what it'll be used for, but it's better there than in my hands. I have to try to have Sully step on the stage. She's going to be only an assistant for a little while, that's what it seems. And yet she stares at Ilya's practice intently. That kid could become someone important in the future. That kind of acting is improbable for me. If we could add a scene, we should probably do something that will win the spectators' hearts more tightly. I don't want to turn the play into something else. I respect your view, but somehow couldn't you think about it? Nope. I thought you'd say so. They look like they're having a consultation about the play, and the troop master is being pushed around. Let's not disturb them. Asked Nickel. He was acting strange, alright, but if I think about his acting role, it's not well balanced, you know? That's right, why don't we try adding a one-to-one fight scene between him and Theo? Cut me some slack. Spectator seats, not allowed to loiter. Miss Plie, about Mr. Nickel. Right, I too think it's really strange. He really seemed a different person. Excuse me, is something wrong? Oh my, the policeman. Well, it's not something serious. We were talking about Nickel. Seems that Mr. Nickel did special training somewhere as of late. Looks like he obtained an amazing technique and performance strength. You see, somehow it even seems his personality ended up changing. His personality changed, huh? They say sometimes such a thing happens to people, but he changed from day to morning in just one night? Yes, if you have the chance, you change, but I'm sure that maybe Mr. Nickel, too, caught hold of something. He's been doing special training, earned a lot of energy. It's not a bad thing, but his personality changed. Just different from before, I'm worried. Now that I think about it, after the anniversary festival, he disappeared for many days. Maybe in that period of time something happened. Maybe, but he doesn't tell us anything. By the way, yesterday that Nickel was doing some flashy acrobatics. Has the guy always been such a show-off? Can't stomach it. Where is Nickel anyway? Today's rehearsal is too perfect. I'm truly in top condition. I feel I won't lose even to Rixia. Mr. Nickel, it appears lately his attitude has changed quite a lot. When you get confidence, you become like that? Let's see. This is actually going to take me to Center Square. In case you're wondering, I am aware that there are 3 people you need to speak to before you can end this, even though they tell you to go straight to the support section. You're basically looking for other people who have been influenced by the drug. And it's worth playing in 3 as I thought. Alright Momo, you can come play with us from now on. Let's play together. Momo, pass. Catch properly. Yeah. Momo, pass. Catch it properly. We 3 are playing together today. Playing with 3 people is more fun than with 2. So the next affected is over here. I'm looking for any kids that are around. This is Sunita's house. Is she here? Father. Has something happened? It's nothing. It's just that since a little while ago, Father has... Damn idiots. Father, I wonder what's wrong with him. Somehow he looks strange. Mary seems to be taking it in stride. Father must be tired. Let's be why he's a little strange. Sunita must do something. Those idiots, the value of those bonds dropped in 3 days. They couldn't see that? Crossbell News Agency Business Magazine is stupid now. No, is it because I'm too good? Oh well, it's all the same. And then the last one is somewhere downtown. It's one of the gangs I know. Lazy? What's wrong? Nothing. I'm just a little worried about the Vipers' movements. Seems there was a dispute last night, so it's them. Last week the Vipers were acting strange. Seems there was commotion in the city. Maybe everyone is excited because the full moon is tomorrow. So now the question is, which Vipers? Is Dio or Dino or whatever his name is at the door for us? Dino, that's what it was. I'm so relieved. I've never liked him since the start. He always forces his chores onto me. Mr. Jed is a manager who also trains his members. For him to be beaten so easily. That Dino? It was a one-on-one battle, and Mr. Wald said also not to quibble. But... did something happen? An awful thing that Dino is... that guy, he challenged to a one-on-one Mr. Jed, one of the managers, you know? They fought in earnest, exchanged blows, and in the end it was decided by an elbow. Even though he's a newcomer, he beat up Mr. Jed. I don't believe this, I'll never forgive him. That Dino has suddenly become insolent. I think he floored Mr. Jed. Just what the hell happened? Mr. Jed is one of the Viper's leaders, even though he's the second strongest after Mr. Wald. That Dino bastard making fun of us like that? I don't believe this. Don't believe this. Jed lost. I don't believe this. But a fight is a fight. Jed, you're going to the hospital. No, I'm good. If the doctor sees me like this, it'll be a stand on the name of the Vipers, but don't make me repeat over and over. I'll kick your ass, you know. Sorry, I'll do as you say. Those police mutts are loitering around here. Don't break into my turf. You guys have nothing to do with this. Get lost. I'm so relieved. Never liked him since the start. He always forces his chores. Everyone come in. I didn't get to read that. Everyone coming in, this intrigues me, or something like that. With this, tomorrow I'll be the big leader of the Vipers. There we go. He does repeat this. You coming in? Everyone inside is trembling. With this, tomorrow I'll be the big leader of the Vipers. So with that, I think we are done. Now we just have to go report to base, and that'll be that. So this will definitely be a longer video compared to yesterday, but still can't really promise regular uploads. Oh hell, I didn't even look at the bracers. Where are they? Wow, they're all here. Oh my, it's the sports section boys. It's you guys, huh? You here? Yes, so it looks like you can know about it too. Of course. We just contacted all members and they've gathered on the second floor. We're prepared for the danger of a full-scale dispute between mafias. As I thought. My goodness, it seems the police got a total late start. Well, all I can say is that our duties and ways of doing things are different. We will prepare to the emergency in our own way. I think it'll be alright if you act the way you're used to. Right. Kao the Heiyue is a sharp man. Probably won't go with it for a simple retribution. Whatever, for now we can only prepare. As for those who attacked the Heiyue, it was without a doubt Ravache. The problem is, why did they unexpectedly cause a disturbance in a situation like this? At any rate, I'd like to make sure of the exact situation. Heiyue, in the case that something happens, first of all assist protecting injured people. Yes, I know my role. But I want to search for a way to settle the situation peacefully. Of course. In order to do that, information gathering will be important. I can act as a doctor, however, although I can, I don't want to. I want to search for a way for people to not get hurt. All the citizens get hurt by a stupid mafia dispute or something. In order to do that, we must gather certain information. It's Lloyd and you guys. Did you hear about the Heiyue? Yeah. We're now in the middle of collecting information. At any rate, all the bracers are here, huh? The Sword Saint of Wind is here, too. It's quite the spectacle. We were contacted via the Enigma early this morning. And that's why we rushed over in hot haste. My goodness, your footwork is too good. Aren't you guys that took it a little... Like, the verb there is wrong. Or, you could have it there, you just have to add in something. Aren't you guys the ones that took it a little too easy? But those Ravache guys, they sure made a mess of things. Yeah, although it's a place with little pedestrian traffic at night, citizens could have passed by. This damn mafia are unforgivable. Though I thought I understood the situation in Crossbell, when this kind of event happened, I definitely felt a huge wall. Somehow we got an accurate grasp of the situation, but... We want to ask the Mafia directly too, but... It seems there's an agreement that the police take precedence in matters like this. So Lloyd guys, please investigate in our place. We have Mr. Arios, the Sword Saint of Wind, and Estelle and Joshua, the heroes of Laboro. Riflemaster Scott, and Imperial Guild stalwart, Wenzel. There's Heiyue, who's also a doctor, and I, the leading specialist. Even with these members, we can't help but be cautious when dealing with incidents in Crossbell. At any rate, you two act prudently. For now, I want to search the Mafia perimeter. There are frightening wide connections for heavy weapon smuggling routes. Seems they could do as many imminent military actions as they like. And there you have it, we got to talk to the bracers after all. should be no new weapons. I don't really have a lot to pick up any new slots. So there's 3 on him that still need to be expanded. She has all of hers. He needs 3. She has all of hers. Let's run over to Gantz real quick. Slot. Yeah, that's actually not too bad. His is perfectly symmetrical. Like, I'm wondering, should I just bite the bullet and unlock everything? So EP-wise, they pretty much doubled. Anyway, after we make the report, that's when I'll put a break in the video. Looking proud as always. You'll buy a suspicious person if they enter. What? You're late. The Heiyue inquiry took you so much time? No, actually, apart from that, we came across an incident that's bothering us. We'll do the usual report in conjunction with the Heiyue raid incident. Chief? Sorry, was it too hard to understand? No. That chain of information. It's possible that all of it is connected. Seriously? What does that mean? Too many things have happened and things may get crazy, but today I want to try tying together all the information you've gathered. Especially you, Lloyd. It is at a time like this that it's the duty of a detective to show his skills. Yes, sir? Today we discovered roughly 3 key pieces of information. We heard information from Cow regarding the Heiyue raid. We exchanged information with Miss Grace regarding the present condition of Ravache. We heard the information regarding Mr. Gantz, the miner. So there's something tying the 3 pieces of information together, right? Somehow or other I'm starting to see it. Yes, let's try to sort them. So in the Heiyue raid info, what element is related? Physical abilities. In the Ravache status, what element is related? So the reason why I'm stalling here is because the war dogs came up. If you remember, Grace said that was the newbies who brought in the dogs. It wasn't actually Garcia that was related. Because Marconi, she said, is just sucking up to Hartman. And they agreed there were no Jaegers, so there were no temps. It's either 1 or 2. And for the third one, in the info regarding Miner Gantz, what element seems to be related? Time he disappeared? No. The fight with Lecter? No. It's the blue pills. No, it doesn't mesh well with this. I should choose again. This doesn't make sense. So for the Heiyue raid, they were wielding heavy machine guns with 1 arm each. Is it supposed to be Marconi then, or? Did I misread that? I don't know. Maybe something was lost in translation? I have no clue. Because they were talking about the new members. They didn't say anything about temps. And based on Rossi, Jaeger shouldn't have been... I don't know. This is probably it. The abilities, temporary organization, blue pills. Or by temporary organization, or, yeah, that has to be a mistranslation because they should have been saying like a third party. That's the unknown element at play that Randy was referring to. This has to be something lost in translation. This is... It's suspicious, isn't it? But there are various things I can see linking these events. The physical abilities displayed by the Mafia that raided the Heiyue, the minor Gantz who got eccentric gambling skills. The other separate incidents, they're the same in the latent potential of the human was increased. Suppose we say the thing linking the incidents is these blue pills. The Mafia started to become involved in distribution of illegal drugs. They didn't flow only to the general public. They were also used to strengthen combat abilities. That's the general idea. Well, it's still just a guess. But certainly, if it is that, it would explain a lot. And bringing down Ravache from the inside by that crime leader's leadership is also possible. Deciding to take the medicine, they got power, and underlings who became violent began to increase too. I think it's because of that. Well done. Additionally, there's also those gossips lawyer Ian was talking about yesterday. The trader and securities man whose performance suddenly increased, that was Bond, if you remember. Those two already took the blue pills? That's why this is mere speculation at present. However, one by one, the points are lining up. You're getting that feeling, right? Yes. But honestly, with just the support section, I don't think we'll be able to manage the situation. Especially in drug-related incidents, we need to contact the 1st Division, right? Yes, perfect timing regarding that point. Here's where you are. Kea, what's up? Are you hungry? There's a client. A sullen old man is here. A sullen old man? Dudley. Ah, Detective Dudley. You're late. Sorry, our investigation meeting ran late. Those just the usual discussions. But if I can get started right away, you won't mind, right? I don't mind. Together with them, if you please. Mr. Sergei, stop with the jokes already. It's not something to have these young kids listen to. But the information regarding this incident these guys have gathered will be useful to you, I'm sure. If you sit with them, it'll be over nice and quick. What are you saying? That reminds me, I did entrust the Heiyue information gathering to you guys. Because of that... No, but... Chief? If it's inconvenient for you, shall we leave the room? That won't be necessary. That man isn't the ace of 1st Division just for show. In this situation, he should be able to see through whatever you need. Got it. Listen up, you guys. The discussion hereafter is a confidential police matter. I won't forgive anyone who tells outsiders about it. Got that? Understood. What is it, a secret story? Kea wants to hear it too. I prepared some sweets for you, so enjoy them with Zeit, okay? Pressure is being made on the 1st Crime Division? You don't have to be so blunt about it, but... After taking the case of the Heiyue raid, we got an order to devote all our efforts to opposing Mafia resistance. A little while ago, we discontinued our investigation into the mysterious drugs. Even the 1st Division was investigating them? It was a few days ago. I'm surprised at how much you guys found out. Where did you 1st Division guys get information about those drugs? We were tipped off by a long-time informant. We can't trust an informant alone, so we needed to gather info. From what we've been able to gather so far, it seems like just an urban legend. A medicine that grants your wishes, or the blue medicine that brings you happiness. Nevertheless, since it was suspicious, no matter how you looked at it, we were in the middle of compiling a list of involved citizens, but... What's with you guys? Your faces say, as we thought. Bingo, it seems. Lloyd, show him. Yes, sir? Look at this.
No.
Could it be that this is the evidence we've obtained from a certain source today? We received it as a condition of defending that person's honor. Explain the details up to now to Dudley. As I thought, they really exist. And what's more, there's a possibility that Ravache is distributing them? About the order to discontinue the drug investigation. Do you have any idea where that order was handed down from? I think it was someone in the top brass. Even though our 1st Division chief didn't agree with it, he handed down the order. This is the worst. Please wait a moment. Could it be that someone in the police top brass accepted a demand from the Mafia? That can't be. Seriously? It's certainly a bad situation. Dudley, you came to me because you distrust the police top brass. So what do you plan to do? Honestly, I wasn't planning to do anything myself with regard to the drug investigation. If a subordinate acted, even the top brass would butt in this time. But then we would be too cowardly as a police organization. Detective Dudley. Then all you can do is leave the drug investigation to us. Lloyd, Ellie, Randy, TO2. From now on, our Special Support Section is informally cooperating with the 1st Crime Division. We will undertake the drug investigation in place of the 1st Division who can't take the matter in its hands. Yes, sir. Roger. And for collateral, we'll get from 1st Division unlimited intel about the Mafia. Mr. Sergei, what if the circumstances may be as you'd expect limitless top-secret intel is? I don't particularly care, do I? You're at a stalemate, then feel free to do whatever you like. Understood. I won't mind this condition. It's decided. So it means that we'll be doing work instead of the 1st Division, huh? Tickles my sense of superiority a little bit. How scary. Knock on wood. Can't be helped. Now that things turn out like this, I've consented to you guys handling the drug investigation. But how do you plan to continue it? Let me see. In any case, we have the drug itself in our hands. Somehow we'll need to determine its composition. However, how will you find that out? With our present information, it can be assumed to be a completely new type of drug. Using HQ forensics is beyond my powers, and also it's easy to get marked from the top. I see. It's like that I think should request help from the medical college. I got it, so we'll rely on that doctor, huh? A medical college? You're talking about St. Ursula's Medical College? Yes, we know one of the doctors who does pharmaceutical research there. And I've heard he is excellent. There's a good chance he can determine the drug's composition. I see. Regarding the composition investigation, it seems that's all we can do. Dudley, please put together a 1st Division investigation report and send it to us by the end of the day. I intend to have them decide the investigation policy hereafter. Understood, I'll send the report immediately. I'll excuse myself. I look forward to working with you. Same here. And say those words to them as well. Listen, everyone. If you do anything really stupid, the situation will grow worse, understand? Notwithstanding the drug investigation, leave dealing with the Mafia dispute to our 1st Division. Don't stick your necks out, behave, and leave it to us. Good grief. That guy just can't be honest. That is one way of hiding one's embarrassment, isn't it? That may be true. And he has a stronger sense of justice than I thought. Yeah, I feel like we can trust him. Basically, there's a lot of diligent people with a sense of justice in the 1st Crime Division. Most of them are sticklers for rules and inflexible. Now then, you guys, are you going to the hospital immediately? Yeah, that's the plan. If we have time, we'll take care of some other support requests. Right, we didn't have time to go outside the city this morning. Seems like it's going to get busy, so it's good to sort the requests little by little. I'm glad you're full of energy. Though we're cooperating with the 1st Division, don't get too excited. Stupid pop-up. As usual, use your way of doing things and show me you can unravel the mystery of those drugs. Yes, sir. So, check requests, search for a VIP, Congressman Campbell. Want to consult with you in private? I request that you search for a VIP, come at once. Residential Street, Mr. Campbell. Repose of Souls flower collecting. Old Man Quint. I want to collect some special flowers to offer on a grave. For details, come to the Gravekeeper cabinet at the graveyard behind Crossville Cathedral. And I guess it's just those two. This one's a very short window, so we'll get to it next time, I guess. But anyway, folks, that is it for now. Hopefully next time we don't have some stuff that's lost in translation. I am the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.